Okay, everybody. This is Mattie C Sports for you and me. I have a special guest today, Paul's Pujats. Uh, yes, I got his last name right. So
Yeah,
um, this man is a. I don't know if he's still a pole vault now, but
I still pull, I still train, I'm still uh, Olympic hopeful for the next Olympic Games.
oh,
I will say this honestly and truthfully that a lot of attention is starting to go to my business, which is just like a baby. You need to grow it, you need to feed it, you need to make sure it gets the best of it.
I know I got a 2-year-old daughter, so I know all about the feeding
Wow,
and taking care of it.
wow.
So I know exactly what you're saying. So
Mhm.
let's just start. What? So you were born in Latvia, or you were born in the States?
Yeah, I was born in Latvia in the capital city, Riga. And since the age of 20, from the age of 20, I moved to States for the University of Memphis. This is where I got a scholarship from pole vaulting. That's one of the biggest things that I feel like anyone should take away is that if they're athletes and they have quite a good enough results, highly recommend to use that opportunity. That's a huge financial saving burden for your parents, so to say, or for your own
Yes.
future health, both physical and mental. So yeah. Then I moved to the University of Memphis, and I've been here since basically since 2012. Since
Okay.
2012, 13, 12 and 13. So, yeah.
So do you also have a home in Latvia too?
I go very rarely now, very
Oh,
rarely.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, obviously my family's there, my mom, my dad, and my sisters. Well, one of the sisters are there. Other sisters in Czech Republic in Prague. So yeah, we were kind of scattered all over the world. And then my brother, he's also in Memphis for now. Then later on, he's going to join Matt in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, right around here. So what got you into pole vaulting?
So I was following my brother's footsteps, to be honest. Our father always almost pushed us to athletics, but I think many kids, especially in like young teenage age years, focus more on like something that's fun and cool, which was skateboarding at the time, snowboarding, anything that's related to extreme sports. We did a lot of those, but then our father didn't really like it. He pushed us more to taekwondo, to martial arts, then was swimming, and we swim for 6 years. And I have to say, like, I love swimming, I love diving, but swimming just back and forward in the laps is one of the most boringest things you can do. It was very boring.
Yeah, I get.
And then, but it's a good recovery. It's very good for the body. And then we went to track and field. We went to do decathlon. So in decathlon, you have multiple events. Have multiple events that you can try out and do them to compete with others. And I like that actually quite a bit. It was very exhausting. It took a lot out of you. And then we tend to focus more on pole vaulting side because it was just more fun without dying completely after the end of the competition.
Man, I would always be afraid if that pole broke on me, man. Like 6 feet in the air and then crack, just be broken on me.
Yeah, I had a couple of videos. I'm not sure if you. I wish I could share a screen. I could show a couple of snaps how it looks like.
I could share YouTube it probably.
Mhm.
So
A couple of accidents that though they happen. They happen once in a while, but not too often.
so with your when in college, so in 2015 you were runner up in the outdoor track championships. So
Mhm.
um I mean that's big in the college world. I mean there's thousands and thousands of colleges. That must have been a huge like accomplishment in itself, even though it was runner up. Don't matter.
Absolutely, and I lost. I only lost to a guy who won world championships. so so it was pretty good. It was a pretty good competition, I must say. It was very fun, and Oregon was an amazing place to compete. You know, the home of the home track and field, basically mother of track and field place in the United States. The amazing atmosphere. You know, so many people were there cheering and watching. It was like a huge championship, like, you know, as international even level. I remember like in European championships or world championships, or even, you know, obviously Olympics are the next level, but like it was a huge crowd. It was a huge crowd just for track and field. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, it seems like there's a whole nother following in the track and field world. You know, like me, I only knew like, you know, Carl Lewis and stuff like that. Like, you know, there's so many sides to it. There's like the pole vault and, you know, swimming, and they're just
Mhm.
adding more and more, you know, like, I mean, has the pole vaulting sport like evolved like even more like with you guys? Like, I'm sure like you're trying to help. Are you like helping with different schools or anything like that?
Well, the evolution in pole vaulting happens when you improve in the technique, how the body mechanics work, and then also how the pole recoil of what's the quality, what's the technology in the pole as well. And I was lucky enough that I started to change my poles in. It was actually in the end of my my college career. I started to try out Essex poles, so they're different kind of fiber. So one of them can be carbon fiber. That's what I was jumping, and then they have a recoil as well. Like it's very quick, very fast. And it's almost like slightly bent when you put it up, even like when it's just normal. So it bends easier. So when it's straightened out, it straightens out even more. And then there's also uh, fiberglass, and then other mixtures. And they're also very good poles, but they work differently. The technique is different, how they work. And of course, each individual has different technique. No one has the same technique in pole vaulting. That's what's unique about it too.
Yeah.
You can jump in many ways. In the terms of helping others, I tend to not to focus that much of actually pole vaulting
Hmm.
because it's very limiting, so to say, you know, just for one specific target audience. I focus on helping, especially younger kids, in terms of their mental health, in the terms of like how to perceive the world, how to perceive the world, how to best understand it, how it works, how to treat one another, how to be a good sportsmanship in that field, as well as like how to be honest, brave, and all these good qualities that each individual should have developed in the early stages in their childhood. Because when they have it from the childhood, they're amazing. You know, they don't have to go through painful experiences throughout the life. They can understand why these things happen, be very understandable about them, and then, you know, completely deal with them with the ease and a logical sense. So, yeah, that's something I do of volunteering, working with Athletes for Hope. It's a nonprofit organization. It's more of like virtual visiting now, you know, because of the corona.
Yeah, I actually just had an interview with a person who was dealing with that, and also I was dealing with their agent with Athletes for Hope as well.
That's
So
amazing.
very,
Wow.
very nice
Small world.
organization. So I'm glad that I got to meet this one. It was funny. So the athlete that I was talking to hadn't had me on IG yet, and the PR promoter added me first. So I thought it was pretty funny that way. Um, so yeah, it's a great organization, and you know, it's like you guys helping each other and you guys helping others. Like like you said, with, I mean, I'm a big advocate for mental health with certain things. I've talked on my show about it numerous times, so I appreciate that you do that for the children and, you know, kids like that, and you're not just concentrated on the pole vaulting part of it. You're actually trying to influence these kids like to be better people, and I appreciate that. And I read up on your organization, and it seems like so many good things you do, but it's like, holy moly, you have like so many different aspects that you can help people, man. Like I see like I was really interested in your trigger point therapy. So what is that?
So trigger point therapy is one of the self-implementing techniques. Obviously, other physiotherapists, trainers can do that to each individual as well. But I teach how you can do this on your own, how you can self-help and self-heal yourself. And this is why the mindful yoga comes in there as well. I'll tell a little bit more about it later on. But trigger point therapy is basically myofascial release, releasing the muscles, working every single thing that's related with muscles. So let's say if you have tight back, your rhomboid area closer to your shoulder blades,
Yeah.
they affect how your neck, how your head is working. Let's say if you felt like a huge tension and you have knots in your back, they affect even how your brain is working. Because if those muscles are locked, if there's knots in them, they're not working properly. They're not getting the blood flow that needed to be to the brain, go to the brain. Plus, they're not getting the oxygen and not getting the nutrients to freely flow throughout your body. That's why it's so important to release those muscles and to have that freedom of energy, of like fluent bloodstream coming to your rest of the body. Otherwise, they create so many issues in the body, like very serious ailments. And people do surgeries, people use pharmaceutical drugs that literally only block the symptoms, but still, and they'll create an extra, actually, they'll create these causes that later on comes to them, because they always have side effects to these things. Even surgeries have side effects because they leave scar tissue, and the scar tissue leaves even those muscles tense up on that area, that spot, and then the tissue builds up there. So also, it's very, very important to start with your muscles first, to release them, and then to see, if the situation isn't better, then yeah, you have to have the interaction with the surgery. But a lot of cases, what I've noticed, and even for like anxiety, stress, and depression, just because your knots are in the muscles, they create these huge tension, and plus they create also injuries in the rest of the body. I stumbled upon it while I was still, very, very actively training, and then I felt like I had many injuries back in the college already, and I couldn't figure out like how I can heal myself on my own time. So I had to like go to the training room like every single day and just recover like all the time, and to have someone else to work on me. So I decided I have to do more research about it, and stumbled upon trigger point therapy, and it helped so much, so immensely for so many issues that I had for years and years I couldn't figure out. And the more I did the research, the more I studied, the more I understood how it worked, and got rid of the pain, get rid of the issues, get rid of the stiffness, and something like
That's
that.
amazing, man. I love how stuff like that can work without you even knowing what your body can do with certain stuff like that, like relieve the tension and not be so, how do you say it, like tight all the time. And like people don't know that, like they want to say, oh well, I don't need to exercise, or oh I don't like, if I just take this magic pill my back won't hurt, and then like maybe a day and a half later their back is hurting them again.
And even more.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, if you can do it naturally, then why not, like
Exactly.
like you said,
Exactly.
you did a bunch of research, and like all it takes is Google or whatever you need.
This is
And
the thing.
and
I'm starting to also implement these techniques for other for more corporate companies as well, because many people notice the benefits of how they improve the productivity. When they release those muscles, they're getting the blood flow to the rest of the body, so their brain is functioning better. They feel more alive, they feel more awake. They're not, having these night terrors or trouble sleeping or being nervous or stressing out about the work. They actually can, be feeling comfortable the way it's supposed to be in the body. So yeah, that's a big one, and you can do this on your own, but you have to put in the work. That's the thing. A lot of people are lazy. They don't want to put in the work, but it really takes just a little bit. It really doesn't take so much time with you, anyways. But they want a quick fix. A quick
Right.
quick fix is
Right.
not going to be there forever. It's only gonna, temporarily alleviate the best and maybe even make it worse for later on.
And exactly, like, I mean, like at where I work, it's like 8 hours on your feet, so you're constantly going, but you're not going at a pace where it's like, all right, let's hurry up, like let's go. It's like it's just a pace for work. It's not like physical activity, like doing some cardio at a gym or running and different stuff like that. So I feel like people need to know, like, yeah, you may be walking for 8 hours at work, but it's not a steady flow of work, of like exercise or anything like that. And that's what people sometimes don't understand.
Mhm. Very
And
true.
then and then like when you're eating at work, like I've been at my job, every single solitary place around the area is all pizza and just garbage, like just not
Yes.
good food, and it's bad, and it's a bad influence on
Bad,
everything.
really bad. Very, very true. I gotta add something with this one. Like your body, imagine your body is like a machine. What you put in there, whether it be on oil or whether it be on gas or on electricity. So what you put in there, you're not gonna put a gas in an electric car. So the same way, you're not gonna do the opposite. Plus, what you feed your body, what you're feeding your system, is how it's gonna work. If you're gonna feed it trash, you're gonna feel like trash.
Right, yep, that's
Mhm.
true, that's absolutely true. More into your company itself, or I should say organization. um so how'd that start? And I know it started, is it now your wife or your fiance, girlfriend, Linda?
She's my fiance. Yeah, and
Okay,
just in a couple of days.
congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it. A couple of days, futuristic wise, we're gonna get married as well in the backyard with very very small little people because because of the corona we don't want to have
Right,
it.
exactly, yeah.
And we started together. It started actually. I wanted to develop the organization 3 or 4 years ago. I started it and then I left it on. Basically, I left it on at the beginning stages because I had many things going on,
Hmm.
and I felt like the technology, you know, took out a lot of energy out of me, and I decided I gotta focus on different things, and maybe later on I'm gonna get back into it because my goal was already. I wanted to help other people. I wanted to help. That was my goal, and I get started. I just really wanted to help other people to help them heal them through their own willpower, through their own techniques, self-healing techniques. And then I stumbled upon, I found my girlfriend, current fiance, by an accident in my hometown city, which was our like common friend had her company's birthday, 2-year birthday. And since that day, it literally was like, meeting a soulmate where you literally feel like every single thing that you've been doing, almost like in a time lapse, it was like at the same time we're doing the same thing. And when we met, it was just so fluid that there's no question about it. And since then, she helped me with every single thing that I did. And she basically, well, not basically, she quit her lawyer job just to, be here with me and help me with the company because I can't do it by myself. Whenever there's an organization, a company, there needs to be a whole group of people, that works with it. There's never one man, one woman, in one man's team, so to say, in it. There's a group of people that help you to do it, to achieve it, to achieve the vision, the dream that you want to have it. And yeah, since then, this is how our organization has stumbled upon, and how the Pujats logo right here as well created. This is
Yeah,
by my
you'll have
lens.
to send me one, dude.
Yes,
Definitely rep you
absolutely.
guys.
We have a new products coming into the store as well. It's trigger point therapy balls, which we use for trigger point therapy. And later on, futuristic, we have a new project which is working on infrared low level light therapy. I'm not going to go into details with it, but it's one of the best technologies of how you can heal yourself with light. It's amazing. If you want to look younger, for the skin to be more, no elastic, much more elastic. If you want to have your muscles to recover quicker, faster, and then
Yep.
if you have any issues in your joints as well, to alleviate any soreness, tension, releasing those knots, as well as any like osteoporosis as well. A lot of serious stuff.
Wow.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's
That's awesome. So like, so you could just do all this stuff on your own pretty much, and like I know, do you offer classes too, right? Like through like, do you do it through Zoom and stuff like that?
yeah. I offer classes on my website and as well as on Airbnb. And I have to say, Airbnb is hosting Airbnb experiences, and I work with them from the beginning that they were starting Airbnb experiences. At the beginning, it was thought they're going to be in person, but with the
Hmm.
time going on, we started doing online, and it's the best thing ever. I can reach any single individual around the globe. We had almost every continent that I can possibly think of people who would join to the sessions and help them. And people speak to themselves. They leave their reviews, very honest reviews of how the session has helped them and changed them.
That's amazing, man. And that's cool. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to talk to a guy that's from Latvia. He's gonna be there, and I'm like, oh, now he's in Tennessee. Cool. But yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome, man, to like interact with people around the world. That's like one of my goals too, besides just talking to athletes. I want to talk like branch out through everything, and
Absolutely.
talking talking to a person who my last um show was a woman from Toronto who
Mm.
fought Muay Thai in Thailand and across Asia.
That's amazing.
So it's like it's so interesting. Like there like the saying, there's a whole world out there. There literally is. Like
Mhm.
it's absolutely amazing. But going back to this stuff, so um like with your classes, like how much stuff do you actually teach? It seems like you teach the encyclopedia of health.
You're on spot, Nat. I have to say this. In that 1 hour that I can teach is like tip of the iceberg, so to say, tip of the mountain. There's so much that I can talk and show these techniques, but in just 1 hour, it's impossible to teach it all. It has to be very narrow. Let's say most most people, especially if you're in technology investment or technology jobs, that happens is that you have this IT neck, and just many people in general,
Mhm.
very tight neck. That neck causes not very many issues in your head area, because all these little muscles, all those little tendons are connected with your head, of course. And if they're blocked, you're not getting the blood flow, you're not getting the right nutrients that go to your head so you could function properly that you're supposed to. Plus, if you have migraines, headaches, trouble sleeping, or just anxiety even, literally it's just because there's too much tension that is stored and built up in your body, and you just need to properly recover. Not taking a pill, but showing a way how you can recover your body through these techniques, whether it be opening up the knots, specific breathing techniques through pranayama, which is yogic breathing specific techniques that work specifically with your nerves, like the vagus nerve, as well as your superior laryngeal nerve, and or into your rhomboid area with the spine, because your spine is attached to the rest of your body, and it works
Mhm.
directly with nerves throughout the body. So I teach these techniques, and there are whole science behind of it, and the whole holistic approach to it. But they work like miracles. Honestly, even like some serious ailments like issues with heart, like
Mhm.
heart palpitation. Some people who have been stroke has. You can reverse those effects just by proper techniques, by yogic practices, and by implement these techniques on your own. And that's the thing, everyone can do them. So that's
Yeah,
amazing.
that is
I'm,
pretty cool.
I'm
I would
teaching people how to take care of themselves, not always relying on someone else.
right, and that's how I see some. Excuse me with this stuff. Um, that's why I see some people sometimes they just like you said, some people are like reliable on different things. Like I don't mind the whole like. I think cannabis is a good thing. I'm pro cannabis, but besides that, um, like, like I feel like people like rely too much on others, or like different tools that aren't really meant to be, like, like, oh, I need to go to a massage therapist or something. Like what you said, like you can train yourself to like show the same practices, and it's like you're spending like $200 to have somebody supposed take out the knots for you. But like the way you're telling me is like you can gain more by like getting the knowledge by yourself. Like you're making it sound like it's more like an independent type of thing. Like you can do this, have faith in yourself.
Exactly. And it's an investment. It's an investment in your own health, in your own body, in your own mind. Plus, you'll learn about it. So I think it's the best thing ever, because I've visited many massage therapists. Now, don't get me wrong. There are many trainers, physiotherapists that are amazing about what they're doing, and sometimes you really do need them. Sometimes you do need these experts and specialists in that field. But a lot of times you can heal yourself on your own fairly easily without anything else. It's just that it's really hard to find these professionals. I've gone through many individuals, and I don't feel a lot of effect from them, and you wasted these $200, sometimes even more, on these,
Yeah,
on these,
that's what I
on
mean.
these,
Yeah.
on these supposedly healing, trying to heal yourself, but you had no effect on it. So, you gotta be very open-minded to like, okay, if this doesn't help, what else should I look for? And that's why I started doing these trigger point therapy and researching more about it. I want to mention another thing is the yoga practice that I teach is not the ordinary yoga practice. This is where the spirituality and the techniques are in different kind of level. Most yoga that I've seen is it's very generic. They teach you, okay, you can do a handstand, you can do a split, okay, good for you, but they have no effect on you, on individual. What you're not getting anything from it, from having that. You need those techniques to help you heal you, to help you restore you, to feel the calmness, the peacefulness of the mind, either to calm the mind or get them more energy from it. Because yogic practices, the right ones, depending on what you're using them and utilizing them from, is either to gain more energy, gain more focus, attention, or recover your body and be more calm in the mind. Or if you want to have more creative mind, there's also certain techniques to do that as well. And that's what I teach. My teachers have been Buddhist monks. Just why I'm getting this knowledge, where I'm getting this knowledge from. Buddhist monks, yogic masters that have been there for 30, 40 years. Also shamans, and they're also connected with the yogic practices. Now, if you don't know what shamans are, a lot of times you need to find the right people, because a lot of times you do think that they're very a lot of them are going to be scammy. You do need to know which are the right people, because some of them really are there just to scam the money out of people, and those are not shamans. Those are just chandeliers. Yeah. But there are some people who do have an extraordinary abilities that is just mind blowing of how much more they know and how much more they can help each individual and tell about each individual too. It's amazing.
Now, this is, I was going to ask you about that with the Buddhist monks. How many days were you, I wouldn't say living with them, but temporarily like practicing with them for a couple days?
There were certain periods of time, especially in earlier in my teenage years, where we practiced on a weekly basis with them, specific breathing techniques and mudras, which are basically not hand locks, but hand positions that you align them in proper way. They work directly with your brain, with your heart, with your body, with your energies, how your body moves. And then with breathing techniques as well. And then locks, where you lock your bodies in specific places and basically align yourself, with energy around you and get the energy from within as well. And then I went to Shaolin Temple, which was in China. And then we went to specifically practice meditation with Master Siu Ming Tan. This individual is a professor. He's an expert in image therapy. I'm not sure if many people know what image therapy is. Basically, healing one's energies, aligning one's imbalances through energy, through the energy that the healer is emitting. Very interesting thing. And I meditated there for a month. Also did some kung fu there as well. Trained that a little bit of that. the real deal. And it was pretty fun. It was really fun. Yeah. It was fun and a life-changing experience, actually, to be honest. Definitely.
I'm sure it was. I would love to just like be in a place like that where you're just in total, actually, honestly, Zen. You're just not it. Like everything around you is probably beautiful. It was probably beautiful around you, I'm sure.
I'll have to say, when we were meditating, it was a little bit different. Meditation consisted of a lot of hours of sitting and meditating, but the kung fu was pretty rough. Like, it was pretty brutal. I had to, well, for the meditation, we still had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, went to our first workout, so to say. It was Tai Chi and Qigong. Then later on, we hit the meditation for 1.5 or 2 hours. And then in the evening, we had another session of like 2-hour meditation. So it's a long, long time, to meditate.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about in all those hours? But maybe you just got a whole nother like headspace, like I wouldn't even imagine.
Mhm. And what helps is that you have that power around you, where there's many people who do the same thing. And then you have the master who does this because he's basically the guide for us all. And when you have the teacher, the guide, it's always, you feel the presence of it and the power of it as well. So it really helps as well to have those group of people, and to have that master there as well, the teacher, the guide, so to say.
That's awesome. So I'll just go back to one more thing with pole vaulting. My
Yeah,
question to
absolutely.
you, well, what I'm probably gonna talk about is the 2016 Olympics in Rio. Um, how was that atmosphere in that stadium, being right there, like all the crowd and everything? How was it just being in that atmosphere?
So it was a dream come true, but I didn't really realize that I made it until I was walking in the qualification field, so to say. When I understood I made it when I was walking into the qualification field, and in the huge stadium, the crowd, and it was already dark outside, so you could see the stars above the stadium, and it was a very blissful feeling. A joy from within of like both excitement and joy at the same time, and like a pleasant emotion. And it was a very, very fun feeling. It was like, you know what, this time I'm just gonna make sure that I'll enjoy anything that comes to me, enjoying every single moment, whatever comes to me. And yeah, I had a fun time, honestly. I really enjoyed it. It was really joyful and fun. A dream come true. And then also one thing that I took away from it, we shouldn't be waiting for something unique to happen in our lives until we feel that joy, that blissfulness. It's always accessible to us if we know how to switch it on, so to say, from within. And that's one thing that I think anyone should take away, that don't be waiting for something in the future wise to happen, but be grateful for what you already have. And with that gratitude, that blissfulness comes to you much more effortlessly, much more easier. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I would just I wouldn't even know, like I'd probably drop the vault and just be like, well, like what, there's so many people, what do I do? But I'm
Yeah.
sure with all the championships and stuff like that, I mean, I'm sure you have a vast knowledge of what these places look like, how much crowds there are, and
Right.
and
But,
now and now now you're just teaching people how to just be calm and like don't worry about like being in a in a
well,
situation like that.
well, it depends. Also depends on the individual. Some people do need to have that little bit of will of fire inside.
Yeah.
For some people, I teach that if they feel like they're too chill, if
Yeah.
they need to be more woken up, so to say. Yeah, it really depends.
So another thing, so now back to the meditation, yoga, and all health and stuff that I don't use. Tell me about the lacrosse balls.
Absolutely. So these lacrosse balls, they're used on different parts of the body. I actually have a couple of them right here. I'm not sure if you showed the video or just the audio. I can show you as well how they look like, just so have a little bit of glimpse of them. We just came. Yeah, I can show them. Okay, give me one second.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these lacrosse balls that we have right here, we have the Pujats logo on it. And when you get these, you also have also basically a little sheet of paper where you can, have these techniques, how to implement them. You can implement them from your forearm, from your wrist. Some people have the carpal tunnel with their issues with the hands, painful sensations all the time. For people who scroll all the time on the phone, they're probably going to have a super tight muscle line on their area.
Yeah.
And then I teach how to release these techniques on your back, on your neck, as well as on your hips, lower back, which is many people with issues with the lower back, and then on the legs, even feet. And they're very, very durable. Highly recommend to have a rubber ball, like a lacrosse ball, and to use these techniques that I teach. Very effective, very easy, simple to use. Just need to put in the work a little bit, and that's it. Some spots hurt more than others. Some people scream, some people cry in the sessions, but they're very effective later on. It's just because the muscle is so tight that it creates that pain, later on, it's attached to those nerve endings. That's why it is so painful. It's super, super tight. When we release them, you give the freedom for yourself.
Yeah, like me, I have lower back problems, but like I don't rely on medication. I don't rely on, like I may sometimes use like oils, but those only, like you said, with all other things, it's like it's a temporary fix. But like, so with that's pretty cool. With like, I would have never known that a lacrosse ball would do so much wonders for certain things in your body. So
yeah, for your lower back, I can tell you this depends on what kind of issue do you have. But first, how I healed my herniated disc from personal experience when I was pole vaulting back in the college is that my core was weak, and I sprained my abdominal muscle once, and that's why I couldn't strengthen it. And I was still pole vaulting. And the only way I was able to heal it, get rid of the pain, is to release those knots first with trigger point every ball and with the yogic stretches in between them, and then strengthening exercise. This is very, very important to get the blood flow in there, because if there's no blood flow going into that spot, into that area, into that spine, it's not going to recover. It needs that blood flow, that healthy blood flow, and working them out, strengthening the muscles. Plus, you're not only getting the blood flow, you're also making an extra cushion, extra support in your spine from those muscles. So it's literally going to lift you up, going to make you straight, your posture straight, like a warrior, so to say, like a good, nice posture, like a model or warrior, depending on what you want.
Well, that's the problem too, and I'm guilty of it myself. Is some people just they don't know. Like my mother used to say, like, you need to stand up straight because it's better posture for yourself. And people don't know if you slouch like this and you're walking like this, then you're just gonna create different, lower back problems, certain health problems in your in your bones and muscle and stuff like that.
Yep, absolutely. And the more we avoid it, the worse it gets. A lot of people tend to do that. Oh, it's a little painful, but I can tolerate. I can go through it. In the long term, it's not a good thing. It's going to create many, many issues, because your body is smart. When it feels pain, when it experiences pain, it's starting to deform. It's starting to change. it wants to avoid the change, starting to deform. That's why the body is starting to deform. This is what we need to avoid as much as we can.
Right. And it could, some people think like, oh, like you said, oh, it's short term, it doesn't matter. But in the long run, when say I'm 30, in the 30 range now, and I'm 60, and now I'm hunching down, I'm like, oh, I should have listened to Paul's when he told me, you know. That's the thing. Like, people just don't understand sometimes. Like, you got to take care of your body, like, whenever you can. Like,
Exactly.
don't eat junk. Like you said, I like that analogy. Like you were saying, like your body is like a like
like a
if you're
vehicle,
throwing
like
garbage, or you're like a machine, you're throwing garbage, you're gonna get garbage out of it. You're gonna eat healthy foods, you're gonna feel healthy. Like, which one do you really want?
Exactly. And I have to add this one as well, that when people do start implementing these techniques, you know, early on, they're extremely grateful for their younger self. Like, thank you for doing these things, because they see their age. You know, if they're getting older and older, they see, like, you know, how crippled they are just because they, you know, choose to ignore the issue. Is the health is your number one priority. Without it,
Absolutely.
there's nothing else that you can do. You know.
And
Yeah.
and I'm sure, like, when your earlier years, when you were younger, with your family and stuff, when you guys were involved in sports, um with the swimming and all that stuff, like, did that pretty much just keep you healthy from then on? Or like, I don't see you as not I don't see you as eating a cheeseburger 7 times a week.
I evolved to that stage, to be honest, and
Yeah.
I think everyone has their own time, own place and time when that happens, when that clicks. But the evolvement is still going on. You know, there's still so many more things that I'm learning every single day, and then because this is this is my organization. I want it to be the best in the world. I really want to make sure that I can give people the best information possible, so they can heal themselves on their own, whatever the issue is. And it started from the food, it went to proper recovery, to sleep, to how to view the world, how to work in this world, so to say, how this world works, even the science behind it, like how this world works in the yogic practices, and then just keeps going further and further and more and more and more. Yeah.
That's
It starts
awesome.
with a little bit. Yeah, it starts with a little bit. When you start feeling like, you know, there's something there that you want to improve. And I went to the place where I see how many people have issues, and I do the research for them. I do ask the questions about them, how I can heal that for them, how I can, you know, help them with that.
Now, in an hour session for your classes and stuff, I mean, do you offer group or do you do individual? Like, is a group like 30 people? Like,
I can be over. I had one of the biggest groups that I had was over 100 people. You know,
wow.
for companies, I do have a lot of people.
Oh,
But then I
that's right.
also,
That's right. You did say that. Yeah.
and then I had individual classes. Some people want to have private sessions because they want all the time and attention to them. And, you know, then then we can really focus on that one specific area that the individual wants to work on. And then there's some smaller group sessions, whether it be for family, for friends, or smaller groups, for smaller company gatherings, you know, something like that. So it varies from one all over 100.
So literally, man, you are just like a health guru, really. Like, you and your wife. I meant fiance, excuse me. Well, you know.
Yeah.
um,
Linda, my fiance, she does so much behind the scenes. I can't do it. I can't do this technology so much. It just drained me too much. I put the effort and time to people, giving the lessons, giving the teachings, and doing on my own research and reading as well. As training, keep my training going on as well. Because we're always learning, you know. That's
yeah.
why it's good to have a team behind you.
Well, I'm glad you learned how to log into Zoom.
See, I know how technologies work and how everything works, but if I'm too long on them, I feel drained of them. The technology
Of
drains me
course.
fairly quickly.
Of course. And I understand like when I'm doing this and like it's like, oh well you just had a half hour interview and it's like, no, there's way more than that. You gotta share it, you gotta like do all these certain
That's
steps, you know? And
mhm.
people don't understand that sometimes. And it's like
Yeah, that's a lot.
it
It's a lot.
is, but I'm glad you have a partner that helps you with that. And it's awesome. And the logo is cool. I like the lacrosse balls. Those are cool. So if anybody's watching, go to his website and check his stuff out, man, or his Instagram page. Follow it, and it's a great organization, and I feel like you guys are gonna succeed in whatever you guys are doing. It seems like you guys know what you're doing, and it seems like you're growing in this business of what you're doing. Like everybody wants to get more healthy, and they, like you said, they either take the time and don't be lazy about it and just do it, or
Mhm.
you actually dedicate yourself and you're gonna feel the results, and you're gonna feel better. You're gonna feel healthy. You're gonna feel like not a slouch. You're just gonna feel so much better. And I feel like
Absolutely.
that's what your organization is doing and what it's gonna do in the future. I don't think you guys are giving up anytime soon.
No, this is only the beginning. Like we just started, and it's been growing really rapidly, really quickly, and that's the important part, because my mission is to help other people as much as I can, how many I can, even if it's just one individual. That's already making all the difference that I possibly can imagine. Just helping one person. That's the most important part of helping each other. I think that's very, very important. A lot of people don't have those, maybe they're not accessible to the knowledge, and they're not accessible to this information. That's why I want to make it accessible to others. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's still going to grow a lot. There's a lot of things to keep doing. We're planning to make a whole retreat place where people can come and restore themselves, going through water rejuvenate techniques, through different nature techniques, going out of nature, completely getting rid of technology, just being in the nature. Detoxify yourself, so to say, both from technology and from the junk food that we're eating, or just from unhealthy habits.
right.
If perhaps you've gone through a harder life, so to say, and now you can afford to heal yourself properly, to have that information to you. So
That's
all these will be accessible in near future. Near future.
yeah. Speaking
Mhm.
of your near future, like what type of stuff should we be looking forward to in your organization?
I will say I have a lot of. I would say I have a news feed in my website, and obviously I update it on my social media as well. But on the website is more so for the individuals, for helping others. But social media, depending on which one you're following, is to also help others. My personal social media is more of like just personal stuff, a little bit of helping others, and just sorting the workouts and practices. And then my pujats.org Instagram or social media or website is more for little the information, the vast information that people can use and utilize for themselves, whether it be from food, from how to charge your water, how to mindfully eat the food and drink, and then different techniques overall, how you can heal yourself and just have a
That's
better,
awesome.
healthier life.
Yeah. That hopefully that's my goal. There's always a New Year's resolution to do that, and I do about a month or two, and then the rest of the year is
That's how it
like it's
usually goes.
well, the
Or
thing
maybe,
is like I said, like with the temptation of where my surroundings are at work, like with pizza and sub shops and stuff, it's
Mhm.
just bad influences all around you. And like sometimes you're
Mhm.
like, oh, I don't want to make a sandwich, I don't want to make a salad, like I want to,
Mhm.
like I'm lazy, let me just go here. And it does affect you, it really does. So
It really does. What your surroundings are, usually it takes up how you're going to be as well. You have to have a very strong will, to resist or know exactly what you should do in terms to have those right choices, so to say, for a healthier life.
Right. So 10 years ago, I mean, I was 164 pounds.
Wow.
And then 5 years after, I'm 180, 190. I mean, that's my, according to whatever scale it was, like to your height and stuff like that,
Mhm.
from me being 6 feet, it's supposed to be like 190-ish.
Wow.
Or so I think. And it's not a healthy 190, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and that's my goal, is to like have a healthy balance, to maintain this weight, but also be like in a healthier standpoint, besides, you know.
Yeah. One thing I can add for the weight ratio, it's important how you feel. If you feel good, if you feel good with your weight and like how your mobile are, then you shouldn't be worrying about like losing weight or gaining weight. If you feel comfortable, if you feel good in it, then that's all you need. A lot of times, just people tend to focus on like, oh, they gotta drop certain weight until they're gonna feel good. uh, they could damage their health if they're doing like a very harsh diet. A lot of diets don't work. You really need to find a relationship with the food, a really good relationship, whether it be food combining or eating the foods that are meant for your blood type. That really is what really works the best.
Oh, I had no idea about that either. So like stuff with your, could you like research information about like different foods for your blood type?
Yes, absolutely. And that's the best. The How it works is that imagine your ancestors were eating a certain foods for a very long period of time. Their body is adjusted to it. If you're going to start eating completely different kind of foods than your ancestors were eating, then your body is just not going to process them properly. What are you going to get bloated? You're just going to start gaining a lot of weight, or lose too much weight. Depends on
Yeah,
each
yeah.
individual. So you do need to know what kind of blood type you have and what your ancestors ate before you. You know,
That's
Through the blood type
interesting.
you can do that. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, Paul's, it's definitely been such an honor to be talking to you, an Olympian, very well known health enthusiast, and um, yoga yoga enthusiast, and I'm glad you're helping out a lot of people in this world that appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate what you're doing. So maybe I should take some classes myself with this beer belly here.
Absolutely,
um,
anytime, anytime. I'm
yeah,
always happy to see new guests in my message.
yeah. So I wish you nothing but luck with your organization, and um, you and your fiance. I wish you nothing but the best, and yeah, so hopefully I can have you again soon, and then we can have an update on how your organization is going.
Absolutely, my pleasure, Matt. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it, and
Oh,
love to
anytime.
share, this with the rest of the world.
Of course, and I will definitely represent this to all my health nuts that I know. So,
Amazing.
um, yeah. So thank you for coming on the show, and yeah, we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Matt.
And
Take
Happy
care.
New Year when it's
Oh,
around.
yes. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Absolutely.
Same to you. All right. See ya.
Yeah.